I'm Not a Serial Killer is released August 26th, but thanks to the kind folks at the Popcorn Frights Film Festival, we got to see it in advance, and I have got to say we were shocked. How shocked? Well, stay tuned to find out.
Heads up, warning, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you have not seen the movie, see it, then come back.
Alright, so you're still with us? We have to obviously tell you why we were shocked, but honestly, before we do that, we should probably kind of give an idea of what we're talking about here.
Yes.
So, the film is basically about a young teenage boy who believes that he either is a serial killer or has serial killer proclivities.
You have a lot of predictors for serial killer behavior, but you're in control of your own destiny.
And the small town he's living in happens to have a serial killer actively on the loose.
A killer has struck, leaving a dead body in a terrified town in his wake.
Which is great, and it sets up for what appears to be a sort of meeting of the minds or showdown or something between the two of them. We promised to tell you what was shocking about this movie, and what was shocking about this movie, honestly, is that we were shocked.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we have seen innumerable number of horror films, much like probably most of the people at home watching this right now. You've seen thousands of horror movies, right?
Oh my God.
Seen every, plot line, every story done to death, re-death, etc., etc. But this one really sort of took a right turn and was like, whoa, I totally did not see that coming.
And I don't remember the last time I was legitimately shocked. And not shocked and confused, because unfortunately that does happen with some bad movies. Shocked and confused.
Yeah, without question.
We were shocked in the good way.
Yeah, without question. Earlier we gave you the sort of plot synopsis. Well, that's actually what I walked into this movie thinking, that it would be a human boy who is a serial murderer meeting up with a human man that's a serial murderer. They buddies, they share beer, whatever. And then the scene happens at the lake.
Yes.
And Christopher Lloyd's character goes out onto the lake with the character that they think is the serial murderer, and quickly dispatches with him in a method that in and of itself was quite not just shocking to us, but kind of threw us off in a different way.
Yeah, we were both completely willing to write it off as we're like, he had a harpoon, he had a branch, he had a knife.
Bad editing.
Yeah, we were so fixated on the plot we thought we were going into that we're like, you can't really see it, so it's probably a weapon of some kind. Oh, he killed him.
Right.
Oh, he's really the killer, whatever.
Right.
We were so not thinking supernatural, wrote that whole scene off.
Totally. And then, as the movie progresses and as the supernatural becomes more evident, and we accept it, and we say, okay, now we're dealing with the supernatural.
Oh my God, that lake scene!
Yeah, and then we brought us back, we're like, oh my God, and everything's been flipped on its head, so again, we're completely shocked, which is absolutely rare.
Yes.
That makes it unique, but definitely rare in our case.
And I was completely wrong, even. I'm in the Miami special that we filmed for this film festival. I said right before going into the movie, looks like a slow burn, no jump scares. Well, I was dead wrong on that one. Yeah. And the jump scare with when the woman gets hit by the car when John is narrating to his therapist, we both jumped. Legitimately jumped. The entire theater jumped. And what was the most interesting is during that tense moment after the car hit the woman and before they resolve it with it was just a fantasy or something, the entire theater, which was packed.
Yes.
Silent. You pin drop silent. No one breathed.
Without question, and that's because that's the way you do jump scares. You don't do the stupid camera heading towards the box and the cat jumps out. I mean, if we're gonna jump, and we did jump, we have to totally not expect it in the least little bit. There can be a little bit of foreshadowing. Okay, she's walking across the street.
And he's talking about it.
He's talking about it, so we know there's that possibility. He was even talking about the possibility. And yet still, it was not telegraphed. It wasn't the normal cliche. It was so wonderful, so perfectly done. And as you said, the whole theater, we weren't alone, didn't just affect us. Everybody there probably even the the organizer who had already seen the film, I bet they jumped as well. So with that said, the other big pleasure and joy in this movie for me personally, maybe you as well, I don't know, was the monster itself.
Yes, and what a different kind of monster they came up with.
That was so wonderful.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, we've got your monsters in these movies that I love. I'm not going to say that are unstoppable killing machines, that are remorseless killing machines.
Or just crazy demon spawned from hell with kind of no background to that.
Yeah, but we know they're evil.
Yes.
And we know they're going to kill people. This monster, you could definitely say was evil.
Yes.
From the standpoint that it killed, without any kind of real remorse.
But I felt like he was evil, but.
Yes.
And then, obviously, he was killing for a reason, and he had motivation to his character.
Yeah, his butt was that he was trying to prolong his life to spend more time with the woman that he loved. And the other thing that kind of goes part and parcel and hand in hand with that I thoroughly enjoy completely, is there was no real explanation of what this monster was. We even have the young boy studying witch books, trying to find out, is this the wood nymph? Is this the whatever else? Every other movie would have told us what it was.
Yes, no exposition for 20 minutes.
We didn't need to know that. It was just some kind of wood-based creature. That's fine, no problem. And then, to top it all off, when the jig is up, the game is over, the monster
falls out of the body,
accepts its fate.
Yeah. And you actually start to feel some empathy for the monster. I'm not sure I totally flip-flopped and was on the monster's side at that point.
No.
But you then realize what he's been doing the entire movie, and now he's accepted his fate of death and kills himself, and you're like, oh, wow, this is an actual fleshed out part of the movie, and not, like you said, just a senseless killing machine.
Right, yeah, it's at that point that I have to say maybe we no longer call it the monster as a creature or something to that effect, because it was not a monster. The monster definition that I think of is what we just covered.
Yes.
Remorseless, mindless killing machine. No, this was a fully fleshed character, as you said, and that just added so much to the film, to that scene, to everything else that really made this, even at its final moments, completely shocking to us.
So for every like, there does have to be dislikes.
Yes.
And I have to say, we don't really have that many dislikes at all.
No, really.
Unfortunately, I have one.
All right.
I'll say.
Fire away.
So I am no stranger to slow burn movies and character development and setup. Great. And I went into this movie thinking
those things,
it was something else. And obviously, I like true crime. I like serial killers. I wanted to see this movie for a reason. However, I will admit, maybe the first half of the movie was starting to lose me. I felt, he's a strange kid in high school who gets bullied, and he likes death and weird things, and then they set up the killer to be the guy in the blue jacket, but it's not, it's the kindly old man. Oh my God.
Seen that before.
Yeah, seen it before, and I was starting to get a little, maybe not so interested in the movie. It just wasn't picking up enough for me. Of course, when things did pick up and it went right turn, I was like, oh my God, my mind is blown. However, I was a little like, where's this going? What's happening?
And I think you mentioned earlier is that, in that lake scene, we kind of dismissed that.
Yes.
So then that sort of, dragging on went on further for you, I guess, right?
I thought the exposition of that scene was that it was Crowley as the killer. Not that it was supernatural, but that it was somehow his friend next door, and not really what it was.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I can sort of agree with that, to a certain extent. My actual only gripe is a little weird, and that the story was so tight, so well written, and so grounded in reality. I know there was a supernatural element, but let's be honest. I mean, everybody kind of reacted the way that they would, with one glaring exception, and that was, sadly, at the end of the movie, dear old mom sees this supernatural creature that she doesn't know the first thing about, and just kind of, just kind of like, oh, okay, there's a guy with a tree for an arm. Let's strap him down to the table and start
And no
cutting on him.
questions.
No questions. Yeah, no grabbing her child and running screaming out the door trying to protect him because she doesn't know what's going to happen. So that and I understand why they did it. I mean, that was the climax of the movie. That would have ruined everything. But when such a good job is done, which is rare, that kind of jumps out at me. So really, I have to say those are probably the only two, and admittedly minor gripes that we had with the film. So it is at last our favorite time of the day, Pinhead time, and the world is waiting. How many pinheads do you give this?
Well, I am actually going to go for 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Maybe surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, we all know I love bad movies. That's my thing.
Sadly, yes.
And I do watch movies all the way through. However, if I was a person of lesser constitution, I might have turned this movie off.
Oh, okay.
It crossed a dangerous line of how long I was losing interest. And I think people who maybe don't have that need to watch movies all the way through might have not been there for the whole thing. And that to me kind of pulled it back a little bit. Mind still blown, so it's not a low score, but again, hitting a point that was iffy for me.
Okay, well, longtime viewers may wish to mark their calendar. This could actually be a first. I believe I'm going to give more pinheads than you do.
That's the first time ever. Ever.
Yeah, I think it is, without question. Now, don't get crazy. It's not a lot. I'm going to go ahead and give this 4 pinheads. Like you said, the mind is blown. I only had that one gripe. My constitution is probably even stronger than yours, so I definitely would have sat through it. So for this one, I'm going to have to go with 4 stars. Now, we don't really have a 3.75 star.
I think I can meet you at 4.
Oh, very nice.
Any movie that gets me jumping out of my seat,
that was that jump
jaw-dropping, ending, I could do 4.
All right, well, then it's easy. This is definitely going to be a 4 pinhead movie. We said it before, but it's worth reiterating. This comes out on video on demand on August 26th. Well worth the price of rental. This is definitely one you're going to want to check out. And you can also check us out on the social media right above. And then finally, check us out all the time by subscribing to this channel.
And also, as we said, this movie shocked us to the core.
Yes.
Were there any movies that shocked you completely? Because we'd like to see them, so let us know in the comments below.